What's going on YouTube? I just wanted to do a quick video here on kind of the breakdown of the Uber Elder fight if you're having issues and you're trying to get your last voidstone. This is the first time I fought him this league to get my voidstone, and yeah, we'll just get right into it. I'm on my Ignite artillery ballista Chieftain. Feels real good for this fight, tanky and good damage. And so to begin, you have to damage, this is Shaper, you have to damage Shaper first, and you have to tick them down about a third of their health before you can go in and start fighting Elder. So we get that pretty quick, and they don't have a ton of life. I think that the Searing Exarch and the Eater have more life than these. I can't confirm or deny, but it definitely feels that way. Um, this fight is more about managing the arena as opposed to massive DPS. You need decent DPS, but it doesn't have to be absolutely crazy. You just have to be able to manage the arena, and maybe if you can tank a shot or two, or you have good evade, you'll be all right. Cold and chaos resistance are helpful for this fight. I take off my spell suppress and use the cold flask so that it's just less cold damage taken. These balls have a lot of cold, and then Elder, he's already shooting the ice spikes here, has a lot of cold damage as well. So if you throw on one of these flasks, this or even Taste of Hate, depending on your build, you might even get some damage out of Taste of Hate if you're a fizz-based damage dealer and whatnot. So, but this flask is very, very helpful. So if you need a little bit of survivability, throw one of these flasks on and just remove one of the normal utility ones. You can also use a life flask or something like that, but this is very helpful. So again, we're going to chunk Shaper down to a third of the health and then move over to Elder. So really, you're just the only two attacks that he really does early is this beam and the balls, and also he'll do a slam. So once that purple little aura is around him, you can start damaging Elder. So you can see it there. So now this circle right here, you can be outside of the circle until it detonates. When it detonates, you have to be within this little ring here, which can be problematic at times. This is when it's helpful to have evade or be able to tank a shot or two, because you're typically going to get hit during this phase. But you only have to be within the circle when it detonates. You can be out here otherwise. As you saw, I ran around Shaper to get here, and he'll just kind of spin in circles and shoot these ice shards at you that hit you real hard. So you just kind of do circles around him, avoiding the Shaper balls. And now, so see, now you see it detonate, right? So if you were outside of the circle when this happened, this would hit you really hard, and it'll oftentimes kill you depending on your build. Now, you see this ball here. This is the major management of this fight, is you have to, ideally, you kite these balls out to the edge. I typically do it up on the top just because it's easier to see them when you're having to dash and avoid things. When you have things down here and you have to dash down, I feel like it's a little bit harder to see what's down here. It's a lot easier to see what's above you. So we're going to try to kite this over to the edge, and we'll go from there. And I make a few mistakes in this fight, and that's why I wanted to use this one, so that I could kind of showcase. I take a death at some point, just kind of what to avoid and the things that will end up killing you. So as you can see, we're going to run over here. Now that we've phased both of them, this is the first one. So Shaper brings up these portals, just the 4 on top, and you just have to kill those a few times, and once you do, the purple shell around him will go away, and you'll just start it all over again. So I just basically run a half circle around the arena. Now Elder's available again, so we do some damage. You want to always stay moving because there's always something going on. Now that right there, that was one of his big slams. If you get caught in that, when you see this kind of a purple bubble or cloud, he's going to teleport to wherever you are. So you don't want to burn your evade charge or anything like that until he actually forms in the purple cloud. So see, there was the slam, and we're just going to keep kind of cruising around. So he's phased. Now this, so see, as you can see, it gets kind of hairy. We want to kite the ball around. We get stuck, tank some shots. So this right here, this is literally half of the attacks right here. The Shaper Balls, right, which I said have a lot of cold damage to them, so that's when the flask, you saw me be able to tank a couple of them, and that's partially because of I have a lot of armor, I have good capped elemental resist and things like that. But we also detonated the ball, so now this circle is going to live in the center of the arena for the remainder of the fight. So as you can see, if you start popping these all over the middle, it'll get really out of control real fast. Now, Elder is also doing an attack that you would have seen if you've just fought regular Elder. This is where he puts a half moon up, and if you're on this side of it, he slows you drastically. Excuse me. So that's kind of what happened here. The ball popped on us, we got hit with Shaper Balls, and he slowed us. So the combination of all of those things gave me a death. But and also as you can see, the circle is here. So we were wanting to be, again, you can be out. It's not quite ready to detonate yet. So I could have ran around. I could have dashed here and then came back here into this little gap. But as you can see, it'll get hairy pretty fast. And, sometimes you will take some deaths. Being tankier is obviously more helpful, but, it'll take a little longer to do the fight. I personally don't mind dying here and there, and this is me just making some mistakes and not managing my arena properly and kind of panicking a little bit. So this is unfortunate, but this is the way that it goes sometimes. Someone else would have logged there maybe if you want your XP or you're in hardcore or something like that, but I'll typically take the death because I know the fight and I won't need all my portals and things like that. So we'll keep it going, come back around, see it detonate. He's already phased, so we're good there. And run back in. And run back in. Oh, I didn't even realize I used an omen. I don't know what that one was. Okay, so again, now we're on Elder. He hit me with one of his ice. So now let me mention these. These little purple guys will start to show up in the corners on occasion, and they will drop this kind of black damage over time debuff on the ground that will also remain for the remainder of the fight. So that's why it's important to kind of rotate around as you're fighting so that if these pop up, you can be sure to kill them as soon as possible. I want to say later in the fight they do drop a couple, so when they do, I'll bring that up and we'll see it. So now, again, we're just cruising around, kind of surveying, seeing if there's anything here. Now, this is the second phase, where now we've phased them both twice, and now it is Elder's turn to do his little mirror thing, and just some little enemies will come out and all that, and you just kill them while he does a few of his attacks. So he'll do the big circle thing, and he'll shoot his little ice balls at you, and he has a spinning attack that I believe will show up shortly as well, and also the melee kind of swipe. But these enemies are pretty harmless that come out. Any of the balls, this is a good kite, so we drop that in the corner and keep it out of the way for the remainder of the fight. And yeah, we just kind of just loop around. So see, now he's dropping the circle, AoE circle, and we're just going to kind of do our thing, try to stay within. We had a guy down at the bottom down there that we didn't take care of. And as you can see, he's now dropped this damage over time debuff that does a fair amount of damage, honestly. And these start popping up kind of all over the place. It gets to be a problem really fast. So I missed that, and that was another mistake on my part that can potentially be a problem. So now we have a couple different damage over time areas on the map that potentially they chunk you pretty hard, and so they are a problem if they get out of control. So as you can see, you saw the cloud kind of appear right here, and now he moves to right here. Now is our chance to dash out so that we avoid his slam. See, we're out. That slam is typically a one shot, and we're just going to get our totems down, get swiped pretty hard by Elder. And see, he's got us stuck in his thing. We dash through, and we're okay here. Tank a beam. So as you can see, the survivability is pretty good on this character. This is another attack. So he drops these tentacle whips, and basically you just have to run. You can't. There's as you can see, I'm getting hit really hard by them, but you basically just need to run, and they'll follow you around the arena for a short duration. We also have another little octopus guy here. So we dash through, we try to come deal with the octopus. It was too late. He already dropped his little thing. Oh shit. Ruined another ball, and oh, so I take 2 deaths. So as you can see there, well, it's too late now. But as you can see, I just, took a couple hits, ran across the damage over time debuff, and it killed me. So these right here are a real problem. And as you can see, the arena is starting to get a little bit out of control. And this is why it becomes so important to manage the balls and to make sure you kill these enemies that are just kind of sitting here in these 2 corners down here. All right, so we still phased them both. Now we're just going to do the portals again. And this will be the final phase. So, and now on the final phase, you can attack both of them at the same time. So whichever one is getting hit. So as you can see, Elder's available, and so is Shaper. So now it's just about doing damage, not dying. Dash out. Almost did it again. Oof. See, it gets a little crazy at times, and when they start doing all their attacks, now he's Tentacle Whip. Got a couple more boys down here. I'm going to come back, and we're just going to try to finish. Okay, so here, that was one more of his attacks. We hadn't seen that yet. He spins around in a circle and kind of throws these spikes out. You can either once they start kind of wide, you can dash underneath, but so it kind of just cones out. So I dashed under him, and that was his last attack that we hadn't seen yet. So now I think we've seen all of the attacks. He basically flies out of the arena and he flies in and claps, and that is typically a one-shot as well. So that one is very similar to the Shaper purple kind of ball thing where he kind of turns into the smoke, teleports, slams. Elders, he teleports away and then comes back in and claps his hands, and it's a very, very powerful attack, and it'll one-shot most builds. So again, now we're good. Fight's over. And that's it. Open another favorite map slot. You get your voidstone. And, again, I made a few mistakes here on this one. I hadn't done this fight yet. This league, it's, been 3 months. I've been playing a lot of, Escape from Tarkov and stuff like that. So that's it, guys. It's not the most difficult fight. You do not need a ton of damage. If you can beat, even the not the Searing Exarch and Eater of Worlds, but they're kind of under bosses. I forget what they're called. But if you can beat those, you have the damage to beat Uber Elder and have it not be a problem. But having a little more damage makes it a little bit easier. However, as you can see, there are certain phases that are just unavoidable. So having some level of survivability is very, very helpful. So, as I said, the flask for less cold damage is very, very helpful for this fight. Maybe take another life flask if you need it. Typically, but it's not going to be something you're able to just go in and destroy. You'll typically it'll take a few tries. When I first did it, years ago, it took a lot of tries. So don't feel discouraged. It is expensive to get in there when you first start learning it. But once you learn the fight and you complete it, it's a lot more trivial than you think. It feels like a lot more than it actually is. And there's only, there's 10 or so mechanics in the whole fight that you have to learn and deal with. So it's really not that much. And if you can do Shaper and you can do Elder and learn their mechanics, then they just come together and you do them both. So it's really not too bad. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to wrap it up there. And I'm going to go ahead and do one for Maven as well. So if you guys are curious on the Maven fight, I'm going to do a similar breakdown. And again, I think I take a death or two in that one as well, which I want to use because it kind of shows the ways that you can die and kind of helps me break things down a little bit. So that's it for this one, guys, and please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Check out some of the other videos. I've been streaming daily, so if you want to come see the build in action or you have questions, maybe you're trying to do a Chieftain, by all means, come ask, and I'll do my best to answer. But again, I really appreciate you guys. It's been a lot of fun making these videos, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.